Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with a new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers.
Mhm.
In just about 24 hours, the newest eviction show is going to be here. This is a big one because this is the final eviction before we finally get to jury.
I know. Can you guys believe it? Finally, we are almost there with the jury where things are going to start to really matter even more with jury management.
Yeah, you gotta be careful how you treat people on the way out the door. You
Mhm.
also, and I know we've joked a lot this season about people obsessively talking about jury, but it's like
Yeah.
we're at a point now where it does legitimately matter. And, I'll be honest with everyone just from the forefront. I am crossing my fingers, toes. I want Mickey out of this game so badly beyond anything I can ever express here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in our last video too. We really want Vince and Ashley to stay.
Yes.
It just makes for a much more interesting game.
It does. And I'll tell a little bit of a story time here from
Mm.
the get go
All right.
because, as all of you guys know, we cover Survivor here at the channel. I've loved Survivor a
Mhm.
very long time. And back in the day when like DVDs of TV seasons were actually meaningful and people didn't just stream them all the time, Survivor used to put out these DVDs and they would always put like 5 or 6 players on the front of the DVD box that was going to be like, okay, these are the players that are going to sell the season. Like,
Yeah.
even when I was on Beauty and the Geek, and not that we were ever going to sell any DVDs, but
I
like,
would have bought your
well, thank you
DVD.
very much. But I felt like a lot of the time I was on there, like, I wanted to win, obviously. I didn't care that much about fame, but I was thinking, I want my participation to matter. I want to be a DVD box player. And it's just
Yeah.
for this
You would
season.
have been.
I like to think I would have
You
been. Well,
would have
you're
been.
very sweet. But I feel like for this season, Vince is a DVD box player. I feel like he,
Yes.
Rachel, and
Yep.
even some extent, as crazy as it may seem, Keanu, it's
A
like,
100%. A
yes,
100%. He is box cover material.
yeah, I want the box cover material to all make it to jury because they're a huge part of the story. And Ashley is at least fun. And it's just Mickey, for a lot of reasons that we're going to get into in this video and beyond, it just feels like her story is over. I'm sorry.
It is over. I'm done with that story. Not everyone loves the way that Vince is playing. Of
Yeah,
course, Vince is right now. I mean, he's in the midst of playing. So yeah, he's not owning a lot of his game right now.
no.
But we haven't gotten to the point yet that he's at the end. If he doesn't own it at the end, then yeah, we can all be mad about it. But like,
Yes.
we're not there yet. Right now, he is not playing a game that everybody likes, but he is playing one of the best games that are going on in this house right now. He needs to stay.
You remember that time I held a grudge against Derek for like 7 years because I felt like he didn't own his game?
Oh my God, Team Derek, he was so
He
good.
was really, really. Listen, I got over it after the Traders because I liked him on the
I
Traders.
loved
But
him on the Traders. He's great. He's a great
okay,
player.
he is a great player. Okay.
Thank you, bruh.
Listen,
Come
I'm not
on.
disputing that. I was just like, I just was frustrated with him, but okay.
I get it. I get it. You want, if you're gonna play any sort of game at the end, you gotta own it to some degree. You can't be on there and be like, I did you dirty and you dirty and you dirty. Please give me your vote. But after it's over, then you can own your game.
Okay, we'll talk now about everything that's going on in the house ahead of the eviction. There's a lot of weird plans that have been discussed that
Mhm.
all feel kind of futile. But before we get into any of them, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we continue to have daily Big Brother 27 live feed coverage here at the channel. And just like we said earlier, Survivor, we love it. We're
Mhm.
covering it. We're
Yeah.
gearing up for season 49 and also the Amazing Race coming back with their Big Brother plus Loved Ones cast. This is a very, very fun next several weeks here at the channel.
Absolutely. By hitting that subscribe button, you really help support us here at the channel. And if you want more of us, just a little more personally, you can head over to our Instagram. We have some new pictures up over there right now. And the handle for that is Matt and Jess TV. So thank you so much to everyone who has gone over to our Instagram and hit that follow button.
Yeah, we appreciate that very, very much.
Yeah.
All right. Vince's crazy plan. We'll get into this first and foremost,
Yeah.
where we're in a situation where Mickey, Ashley are on the block,
Yeah.
and he has decided, okay, you know what? I need to try to find a way to convince Mickey that she has the votes and she's not going to try that hard in the blockbuster because he realizes, I think, that if Mickey wins and it's him versus Ashley, he's probably cooked. So that's the scenario he's the most worried about.
Absolutely. I understand why he's worried about that, but this plan is terrible. I mean, I know Mickey has been feeling herself all season ever since she won her HOH, and that there have been times where she's kind of like, I can throw this, I don't need this, whatever. And she's just feeling like she's not going anywhere. So, yeah, I can see why Vince might think that that's something that she might consider. And I mean, it's Mickey. I mean, who are we kidding here? Maybe she'll consider it, but she really shouldn't.
Yeah, Mickey is one of the most baffling players I've ever
She
seen.
really is.
Both in terms of like public likability, but also fall from grace with, the way that she's playing. That HOH reign you suggested, it completely ruined everything. Like, she is now completely delusional. Like, she seems to feel like she's okay this week. She also just lies all the time, including things not even really that related to the game at present. It's just constant lies to the point where she did suggest to Vince at one point that her ideal situation was Vince winning Blockbuster and her staying. Like, she's obviously lying, but it's just she lies so much, who knows what's true?
Yeah, it's odd. She's lying about things she doesn't need to lie about. She's lying about things that she could need to lie about. But it's just, this is the house based on lies. So, if you want to lie, this is a place to do it. But you really need to keep track of what you're saying and what you're doing at this point. If you're just lying just to lie at this point, it gets really hard to keep up with a lot of that. We've seen people that have lied about only their job and haven't been able to keep that straight.
Yeah, and that's why I would never be able to lie about a job on reality TV. It's just you're putting too much pressure on yourself to be constantly consistent. And with Mickey, like, yeah, I think there's a school of thought that it's just like, okay, everyone is over her, everyone's annoyed by her. Like, maybe she is a goat we can bring to the final two. But the problem is, she's a goat who also nobody trusts. Like, there's not as much value in a jury goat when it's just like, okay, we don't know what she's going to do at any given moment because she's telling like 200 different stories.
It's very, very hard to go to the end to sit with somebody that you can't trust, like a Kelly, like a Mickey, because you don't know what they're going to do. If it's like, oh, we've got a final two and she wins, she could decide to just, screw you over and you just would never know.
Yeah, and so Vince is aware of the fact that it's like, okay, I don't want Mickey to win the blockbuster. That's one
Right.
thing I need to try to protect myself from. The other thing,
Many of us don't want that.
no, many of us do not want that. Vince, I understand he's polarizing, but he plays so hard. I just feel like anyone who plays that hard deserves to make jury, in my opinion.
100%. I am still here for Vince. I am fine with the way that he is playing. I do hope that he owns it at the end, but he is the best player in the game. Rachel's playing a great game. Keanu also actually playing a fairly good game. Listen, I know I see you giggling over there, but come on. He has really been through it in this game where he has had some bad gameplay, and he is still here and he fights. And I do really appreciate players that do anything and everything to stay.
You're right. Keanu does deserve his flowers, because if you had told us a month ago he was still going to be in this game,
no way.
No, we both would have just left the studio laughing. It just felt impossible. But no, okay. The other thing that Vince has sort of realized is just like, okay, I need to make sure I get through to Ava, because I think Vince looks at this situation this week and being like, okay, I probably have Morgan. Lauren, I've got a final two deal with. Kelly, yeah, there's some issues, but it seems like she's willing to keep me for now because she doesn't want to work with Ashley or Mickey. So it's like, okay, Ava. So he goes to Ava today and tries to do this whole campaign, but it goes like just so unbelievably badly. He does not do a good job with this at all.
No, and I mean, this was going to be difficult for Vince anyways. I mean, him and Ava aren't really playing the game together, and it was going to be tough anyways.
Yeah, and he knows that Ava doesn't trust him already.
Right.
And when you're going into a conversation like that, I think you need to be clear, because she sort of asks him, okay, who would be your nominations if you go into power? And then he tries to say at first, oh, I think Kelly and Keanu, but then like Rachel and Ashley if I hear that they're coming for me. And he sold a lot of his anti-Keanu stuff justifiably by being like, he put me on the block.
Right.
Regardless of whatever he's doing right now, I didn't do this to him. He did this to me.
Hmm.
I'm not going to forget about it. I can't forgive him for it. But he's basically listed off 4 different names. And then Ava's going to be like, well, then who is it really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know she could sit back and think, okay, well, I'm not on that list, so that's okay. Maybe he's giving me enough people that it's like, okay, I'll have, these people. If someone comes off, I have this person, that at least I'm not one of those people. But it's not clear of, this is who it's really going to be and this is who the target's going to be.
Yeah, so her detector in her head is already going off once Vince lists all these names because I think she's figuring out, okay, this whole Kelly and Keanu thing is okay, he's telling me what I want to hear. And I think some of this is just she's gotten some information about Vince's leanings already
Hmm.
because of Lauren, and Ava and
Right.
Lauren have been getting closer. And because of that, like she's suspicious. I can never say that word great. She is just running to Lauren after this conversation and basically indicates further, all right, I really don't trust him and I am 100% getting rid of him if it is between Vince and Ashley on the block.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised by this, anyways. I mean, during her HOH, she put Vince up too.
Yeah, I think part of this is just tinfoil hat here. I think
Okay.
Ava's just trying to come up with an excuse that she can tell to Lauren as to
Right.
why she wants to get rid of Vince in this scenario because it's just she was already planning to do this. So it's just Vince did not do a great job in this conversation, sent off mixed signals. It then gave her fuel to go and pass it along to Lauren so that Lauren, who she knows Lauren's as close to Vince, like she doesn't want her to be mad in the event Ava doesn't vote in that direction.
Absolutely. And this, I think, is understandable to Lauren. Lauren's not completely unreasonable. She's been burned by Vince as
Yes.
well. So, I mean, the relationship is getting much closer with Lauren and Ava. And I think Ava's made the right decision, obviously using this information to be able to let Lauren know where she stands and why this is where she stands so that Lauren is not surprised and getting blindsided like Vince has done to her.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Lauren now has another big red flag that's just waving all over her face when it comes to Vince because she then goes back to Vince and just sort of asks, who would you nominate, Vince, if you get into power?
Mhm.
And he is just sort of like, oh, Rachel and Ashley or Rachel and Mickey, depending on who's sticking around. And then all of a sudden, Keanu and Kelly suddenly not part of the conversation anymore.
Gone.
All just in thin air, right?
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, he needs to keep his stories consistent. And I know the thing with Vince is that he is very good at telling each person what they want to hear, but that was at a different time in the game
Yeah.
where people weren't talking like they are now about Vince and what he's saying. He's been on the block a few times now.
Yeah.
So now people are comparing notes a little more. The game that he was playing isn't working the same way.
No, it's not. And at this point, Ava is just telling Lawrence, like, you can't keep trying to clean up Vince's messes.
Right.
Vince has created a lot of them. He's a 34-year-old man. He's
Mhm.
not going to change. And I will say this I like Ava, but I'm getting a little bit tired of her constantly bringing up how old Vince is, as though
Yes.
being older than her elevates him to a certain standard where he's incapable of change versus, I don't know, people who are younger are more capable of change than.
Yeah, I've never been in the camp of, oh, they're too old to change. Anybody can change at any point in their entire life if they wish to do it. We've seen it across the gamut. He's not stuck because he's 34 years old. Oh, he's too old. 34 is nothing, man. I
Yeah.
am 50 over here and I still feel like I'm changing as life is going on. And I think we all do. And everybody's capable of it if it's something that they want. And you
Yeah.
shouldn't be held to some different standard, Ava. You're both adults and you're both capable of change, and you're not more capable because you're younger. You're both capable.
Yes, you are, and I'm wondering if some of this is her going overboard, but if it's not, it's just like, okay, Ava, it's all gonna be okay. You can settle down a little bit with the age, but there is this interesting chain reaction going on today where it is okay. Ava talks to Vince, and then Ava talks to Lauren, and
Mhm.
now Lauren's talking to Kelly, and Lauren's now letting her know more that, okay, Ava's gonna keep Ashley over Vince. It's just like that ship has sailed, because they did talk a little bit earlier this week about their own crazy idea of, okay, maybe we can get Ashley out if we go
Mhm.
around and try to sell that she is sort of a mini Rachel. Do you want to keep a mini Rachel in the game? I mean, they talked about it. It's not like they ever really did anything with it.
Yeah, the thing is, she's not a mini Rachel. She's working with Rachel, and that's
Yes.
not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, and it was never going to work in the first place, but it's good for them to kind of get the word out there and kind of solidify, okay, this isn't going to work, so we're not going to dig ourselves bigger hole here.
Yes, it's time to adapt and move in a different direction. And if they can't sell it, they didn't sell it, it's old news. They got to move on.
Yeah, so if anyone is curious, like, okay, well, why, other than Vince doing a bad job, is Ava really sold on keeping Ashley over him, or keeping Ashley in general? Because Ava wants to keep Ashley no matter what.
Right.
It's a couple of different things. Number one, Ashley is pretty clear on where she stands. Like, she's made that pretty clear. She's not like telling a bunch of people different things. So
Right.
Ava's somebody who likes to know information and likes to kind of be like, okay, this is where this person lies.
I am exactly the same. That's how I work in life. And
Yeah.
I think that's how I would end up working in the Big Brother house, which is one of the reasons that I don't think that I would do very well in the house, because this is a house that is built on lies, and people aren't really that upfront with you, even in your own alliances. I mean, people are always shifty about things like that. But I'm also a person that works on information. It doesn't matter if the information is good, bad, going to be bad for me, good for me. I need to know what's coming down the pipeline so I can deal with it.
Yeah, clarity is a very important thing, especially if it's clarity that can help you in the game, because this
Yes.
is another important thing for Ava, where it is, okay, if I keep Ashley, I know that Ashley and Rachel are close. Like, I have that clarity. So if somebody decides, oh, I really want to target Rachel, they'll probably nominate Ashley alongside her in fear that Ashley's going to use the veto on her.
Right.
And then, if Ashley goes, then it might be Ava and Rachel that goes on the block together. Ava's just trying to avoid the block, which is really, really smart.
Absolutely. And it's true. They are a duo. So they are probably both going to end up on the block over Ava right away.
What's really funny about this whole situation with Ava is it's just, with all of the talk about her not trusting Vince, I think we would all automatically assume that, okay, well, that means she probably wants to get rid of him over Mickey, right? But that's not actually the case. It still
No.
seems like she wants Mickey to go over Vince.
Thank you, Ava. Just
Yeah.
get Mickey out.
Okay, and the reasons why for this, it seems like, she doesn't trust her. She doesn't seem to like her. And it's just also dating back to her feelings that Mickey's telling Ashley that back when Ava was HOH, Ava was considering putting Ashley on the block, which, for all the talk about Mickey's lies, like, this is actually true. And it's just a situation where, yeah, Ava doesn't trust Vince, but there's a difference between, here's a person I don't trust, and here's a person who is actively throwing me under the bus. And that's a little bit harder, I think, to swallow.
Right, except it was a while ago. I mean, Ava needs to move on from that. Everything seems to be mostly okay after that. But, people hold on to things. Morgan held on to that snake comment
Oh my
way longer than she ever needed to hold on to it. It was a bit ridiculous.
I actually forgot about that for like a week. It started to
Oh,
finally drift to the back of my
oh my
brain.
God, it went on for so
It
long.
did. It went on forever. I also think, though, that somewhere in Ava's head, she's just like, all right, if I do keep Vince, that'll earn me a little bit of trust with Lauren, somebody
Yep.
who I'm trying to work with a little
Yes.
bit more. Whereas, keeping Mickey, it doesn't really do any good for anyone, because nobody is
No.
actually that seriously aligned with her at this point. Okay, so for now, here is the only scenario where I could see Vince actually going versus Mickey, because I think Mickey right now is probably gone regardless.
Yeah.
But if we're in a spot where Rachel and Ashley, who have at least entertained the idea, if they talk to Will and then they talk to Ava and they all
Mhm.
got in the room together and entertained this idea, because, there is maybe a thought that Ava's sort of sitting back and being like, well, I don't really want to entertain getting rid of Vince in this scenario, because I don't think the numbers are there. It's not worth it to me to really spend a lot of time on this. Like, if they all got together and talked about it, maybe it could change. I just don't really see it at this point.
They would have to give her like a a real benefit of keeping Mickey that really benefits her, because there really isn't one. She's not working with Mickey. She doesn't trust Mickey. Like there's nothing there. There is a benefit for her keeping Vince in that scenario
Yeah.
because it continues to build her relationship with Lauren. There's no benefit to this.
Yeah, and you keep Vince, it kind of keeps all these sides going at each other more, and that
Yes.
kind of leaves you to be in the middle longer, and I think that's what Ava wants.
That's the thing. There's a lot of people that are in the middle, the Laurens, the Avas, the Wills, that are not really being looked at for
Yeah,
anything that serious. And once Vince and Rachel go, that goes away.
yeah.
And they are completely going to be front and center and having to deal with each other.
Yeah, and I think this is probably also another reason why Will, especially when the chips are down, probably wants to keep Vince over Mickey. It's the idea that, okay, if we make this big dramatic move and get rid of Vince now,
Mhm.
that's going to split up the judges earlier than some people
Right.
may want. Because
Yep.
it's like, if it's Ashley versus Vince and you get rid of Vince, Morgan might be upset, but she'll be like, okay, you were keeping one judge over the other. If you do this when he's on the block against the non-judges person, Morgan is gone. You are losing Morgan entirely from that alliance, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not time to break up that alliance yet, I don't think. I think that, it could be next week or the week after, for sure the week after, but like at this point it doesn't need to be broken up yet. Yeah, if there's two judges, you have to make a
Yeah.
choice. It's the way that it is. But if you're going to break up the alliance this early over Vince, like there's still a lot of other numbers on the other side of the house. It's too early.
Yeah, and I just think there are certain players who are playing very carefully. Like I don't think it's that
Yes.
they're I know it's easy to say certain people are playing scared, but I think people like Will, he knows very much what he is doing, which is just that I want to keep these sides going at each other. And then when I need to make big resume making moves, I still feel like he's going to do it. I don't think the ship has sailed when it comes to him winning the game.
No, and I think that it's also more important in this newer day of Big Brother, where for some reason all of a sudden competition wins
I know,
matter.
I
It's not
know.
like it was in the day where you can win nothing and win the game. That it's still important to have those resume building moves closer to the end, because people do kind of forget what's happened early on. That's like, oh, okay, you got rid of Zay. Good for you.
Yeah.
Like, who cares, right? It's what have you done lately kind of thing. And what big moves have you made closer to the end that we all remember, that we're like, oh, yeah, right. That just happened.
Yeah, and another good thing that somebody like Will is doing to position himself for those moments is just nurturing all relationships and listening, even if he's not really listening, even if he's just pretending, like being there, it still matters, and it causes situations like today. Will was talking to Vince, and Vince pretty much told him, it's like, oh yeah, Lauren said she's going to nominate Rachel and Ashley. And yeah, there is a part of me that's like, okay, Vince, why are you selling out an ally like this and telling it to Will? But it's sort of,
Desperation.
it's desperation, but it's also, you're making Will feel like you're giving him legitimate information.
Yep.
And that's going to make Will feel like, oh, you think I'm valuable to your game. Like, sure, I want to keep you around for a little while
Mhm.
longer. Why
Yep.
wouldn't I?
Of course.
So we have all of this stuff sort of going on. And then you have Will at the same time just straight up lying to Mickey and saying, oh, you know what? You've got the votes versus Vince. And this is one of the reasons why Mickey does need to go. She just has no pulse of anything. And everybody's just kind of actively lying to her and just giving her false information because they just don't want to deal with her.
It just feels like, I mean, Vince is doing the most right now to keep himself in the game, but it
Yeah.
does feel like, Ashley's doing some stuff, Vince is doing some stuff. Mickey just feels like she thinks she's safe. And I appreciate that. That's fine that you feel that you are. And if you really feel like you are, then
Yeah.
maybe you're not going to campaign. But like, I want to see you campaign whether you think you're safe or not. Like,
Yeah.
make sure you actually have those numbers. Like, why do you feel safe?
Yeah, you should be doing more, especially because there are so many people campaigning against you in a
Yes.
wide array of different forms, including Morgan, who is now using an interesting anti-Keanu tactic to try to make sure that Mickey goes, and sort of saying, you know what Mickey's doing now? She's running around saying that I'm getting close to Keanu because I made Keanu a sandwich. And she's like blowing things out of proportion here. And this kind of goes into sort of what we were talking about with Vince and Keanu earlier, where Vince is saying that Keanu fighting for him is actually hurting him this week,
Yes.
because still, after all this time, there is a fear of being associated with Keanu in any way.
Which is wild at this point. I mean,
Yes.
he's the HOH right now. Like, I don't know, man. I guess he just can't turn his game around, but can he win his way to the end? I mean, it's possible.
It is still possible, especially if, somebody like Rachel still feels like he's a shield, even after everything that has happened between the two of them.
Or somebody that she thinks she can take to the end and beat.
Yeah, okay. So a couple more odds and ends to get into here, starting with some interesting frustration when it comes to Ashley and Rachel, because obviously they're very, very close.
Yep.
But we are moving into this position where just when it comes to reads, like I think Rachel's a better overall player, but I think that Ashley is become really, really socially aware of some things. Like
Mhm.
she's gotten frustrated with this idea that Rachel still has a little bit more belief in both Vince and Keanu than she really should. Like Rachel and Ashley were having this talk, and Rachel indicated to her that Keanu really does want to keep Vince. And it seemed like when this conversation happened, that like Rachel was actually a little bit surprised by it, or she was acting by it. And it just feels like she's still putting a few too many eggs in this Keanu basket.
Yeah, if I agree actually. If I was Ashley
Yeah.
and I had a friend who was in a delusional relationship,
Yeah.
like this one between these two where it's been back and forth and fighting, we're good, we're not good, whatever. At some point you have to sit your friend down and be like, "You are in a bad relationship with this person and
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it anymore or get out."
Yeah.
Like I think we've all been there with someone we really care about that just keeps believing in somebody who is doing them dirty over and over again.
Yeah, and I think Ashley really does want to have that conversation with Rachel. I think what's probably Ashley's worried about is the same thing we'd all be worried about having a conversation with Rachel. It's just it's very intimidating when she is the former winner, the three-time player, and you're sitting back and being like, okay, she's the expert. Is she gonna take that well to me just explicitly being like, you're wrong?
Well, also, this is one of her, closest allies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's not going to want to burn that in any kind of way. But I feel like there's an actual friendship growing here as well. And I am really hoping that she'll take her frustration, but say it in a different way and just be like, "Hey, maybe don't trust this so much. You've been burned before. Like, let me help you out here."
I think what is it?
Instead of shaking Rachel, which is what, I would want to do if I was Ashley.
Yeah, I would want to as well. I think that one of the things that's coming from all this, though, is that Rachel's a lot more paranoid right now than we've seen her for a big chunk of this season. And I think a lot of it is just, okay, that she knows where the votes stand, but she
Yeah.
really doesn't want to lose Ashley. And I think the idea
Yes.
that, okay, because I don't really know what Keanu is doing all the time, and because
Right.
Vince does have these people he's close to, like a
Mhm.
Lauren, like a Kelly, like a Morgan, like she's become really, really worried about Mickey because Mickey is Mickey and she lies all the time. And she has
Yeah.
actually started to go around and like spiral about this to the point where she's had to get some reassurances from other people that it's like, okay, don't worry. Ashley's going to be fine no matter what. We've got Ava on our team with Ashley. You don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel's kind of in a tough spot in this game in general, just
Yeah.
not just because she's a winner, but because this has been like the season of bad players
Yes.
making bad choices, doing like you just can't trust anybody in Big Brother anyways, but like it feels like people don't even trust themselves this season. Like it's really weird.
You really shouldn't if you were some of these people. I think the last thing that's going through Rachel's head here is just we are almost to jury, and we
Yes.
talked about this, that Rachel knows a lot of people have discussed bringing her to jury and then just getting rid of her. And I think we're starting to get to this point where it's really starting to get into her head and she's really afraid. Her anniversary with Brendan is coming up. I don't think
Oh,
she
I
wants to be alone around that. And
know.
it's a sad
I get
thing.
it.
Yeah, I totally understand where Rachel is coming from, and she doesn't even have all the information. Like, we still don't know what this mastermind is cooking up or whatever kind of twist is coming with that.
Yeah, no, we don't. And you never know with that. I mean, that could just blow up whatever game anyone's got.
We know Big Brother. This is the realm of the coup de Jeff. They can do anything and everything. And with that, we will tie up this edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. But of course, turn this over to you guys. Who do you want to see evicted tomorrow night? Who do you want to see win the next HOH? Give us all your predictions, including for the mastermind, in the comments, and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss more Big Brother coverage and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description, and we greatly appreciate everyone who has. Thank you so much, and we will see you here next time.